my name is Laura Baldwin. I'm an Olympic sailor and coach and mother to this cheeky little 8-year-old on the right-hand side there. I've lived my life by the motto that if you can believe it, you can achieve it. And there's never been a more important time in history to believe that change is possible. You know, my response to learning about the troubles that we're in with the climate, nature, you know, the gross inequality crises that we face was first to reduce my own personal carbon footprint. And I was like, wow, okay, I've got to not live quite the lifestyle I am at the moment. So I started by moving my money to an eco-ethical bank. That's a big move we can all make. And I'm still lobbying my local council to divest our pensions away from funding fossil fuels. I tried to make all the single-use plastic-free swaps that I possibly could. You know, each month with each paycheck, I would make a few more swaps that I could afford. And each change that I made, I allowed myself to feel really good about. And then that good feeling motivated me to make the next change. So I eliminated all the toxic chemical cleaning products from my house. I use a guppy bag to wash my synthetic clothes in so the microplastics don't go into the ocean. My son was actually quite fine with ditching baby wipes and adopting just cloth wipes. And my dog, well, he obviously doesn't really care if his poo bags are compostable or not, but the planet certainly does. I set myself twice a month-long challenge to be zero plastic waste free vegan with my diet, which was quite interesting, finding out what I could buy from various supermarkets that wasn't wrapped. And in the end, I opted for a local organic farm delivery to my house. And as a result, I've transitioned to a vegan diet. And I've got to say that I love my food even more than ever now. Like, I've really learned to make delicious, tasty foods. And yeah, I don't miss what I can't eat. So once I'd made all the swaps that I could for myself, I looked to see what I could do to help my community to reduce emissions and restore nature. I formed a local group called Portland for the Planet with the tagline of climate change, think global, act local. And I pulled all the local organisations that were already existing together to form a network, including Plastic Free, which is part of Surfers Against Sewage, who we've just heard from. I wanted to engage the community to, you know, really involve them in all the changes that we need to make. And initially did this through just a weekly drop-in at a coffee shop, and then decided to run people's assemblies where the whole community was invited and everyone got to have a say and be involved in the process, discussing the changes that we need to make. Being part of the decision-making really helps to lessen resistance to the changes we need to make and increase consent. And we went across all our local towns delivering people's assemblies. We had great turnouts and everybody was absolutely thrilled in being part of the process. We asked 2 questions. The first was, what should our county council do to tackle the climate crisis? And the outcomes were fed back to the council. And the second question was, and what can we do as a community? And this really got the energy in the room, sort of it increased tenfold. People were really excited and enthusiastic about the ideas that were being shared and wanting to be part of those changes that we needed to make. And the outcomes of that question became Portland for the Planet's action list. And so we set to it and it was loads of fun. I went into schools delivering a talk called From Anxiety to Empowerment in the Face of the Climate Crisis. This really gained a lot of enthusiasm and excitement from teachers and staff who all wanted to be part of the local projects to restore nature and to decarbonise. I organised a global Earth strike as part of Fridays for Future and gave the kids the mic, and they were all very excited and empowered by that experience up on top of a 24-foot yacht. And the heart that you can see there is actually formed by students at the local school that I delivered a weekly eco group. They're forming the heart with their bodies, and the eco group are in the middle with their placards they've made that spells out, "We love our planet." I organised an eco fair to help to educate local residents on the problems that we face, but also the solutions we can embrace. And planted so far 2,500 trees. We've got 500 more to go this winter. Having experienced the mental and physical benefits of tree planting, I highly recommend it. Like just connecting with the soil, you just get all that static energy out of you. The de-stress is amazing. I had one lady that came along whose husband dragged her along. She'd been unable to get out of bed for 3 months because her eco-anxiety was so crippling. She was crying every day. The first session she was dragged to, the second session she came to, the third session she couldn't wait to get to. And after that, she was front runner leading environmental campaigns and hasn't really stopped since. So it was, yeah, highly recommend it. We collected lots of fallen nuts and seeds and have started our own tree nursery. And organised a clothes swap, which, like, incredibly, everybody left really thrilled with their new items of clothes. I was really shocked to learn this statistic that it takes 2,720 litres of water to make one t-shirt, and that is the equivalent of what we would normally drink over 3 years. So as a result, I try to buy pre-loved. I make do amend, borrow and lend. So at that eco fair that I organised at the end of 2019, somebody came up to me and said, you know, that there's an application for a waste incinerator at Portland Port. And I was like, what? So for the last 2 years, and it's still ongoing, we've been protesting against this waste incinerator being on our doorstep. The top right picture is the protest we held in 2020. The bottom one was last year, and you can see the numbers more than doubled as the community learnt why incineration is bad, and no, we definitely do not want this. Thank you very much. As an athlete, I've learned that local groups are really desperate for people with a platform, with a bit of a name, to help the media to draw attention to the messages that they're trying to communicate. The media their ears do prick if they hear, oh, there's an Olympic sailor or you know, some sort of celebrity, then yeah, they can gain more coverage for what they're trying to communicate. We organise a monthly community bike ride. We've got our banner hashtag Be the Change. Obviously, we need to all embrace active transport as far as possible. Healthier for us too. And Portland Town Council gave Portland for the Planet an allotment plot. It needed an awful lot of work to actually just prepare it to be ready to plant in. And during COVID, it was just my son and I that could work on it. But incredibly, we managed to grow some food. Complete beginners. And the excitement that my son expressed, the delight that he showed when we returned to find that the seeds we'd planted had borne foods that we could eat, was just so wonderful. I really wish that every child could experience that joy. We have our shed doubles as an allotment refreshments counter. We have a weekly afternoon tea. It's more about the socializing, if I'm honest. And we do dabble in gardening and growing. And we organised at the end of last season our first community supper. We're going to have a lot more of those through this next growing season. Literally cooking the produce that we've grown on site and eating it together, whilst we're dreaming up our visions for the future that we need and want as a community. There's been amazing initiatives just popping up all over the island as people are, you know, realizing that they can do things to help, and it makes them feel good. We've got 3 phone booths that are now sort of seed libraries and book shares. We did a sign painting session to explain why the verges are not being mowed and why we're planting bee-friendly flowers on them instead. We created planters out of pallets that creates a wheelchair accessible growing space, and encourage everybody with any bit of garden to help nature with bird baths and bird feeders and hedgehog houses and the likes. And it really is time to dream, believe, achieve, because we are running out of time. And we as athletes are the dreamers. We have dreamed. We've dreamed of achieving our own goals, our own greatness. And now we have this incredible goal of staying alive, keeping the human species and all other species from going into extinction. And we have to believe that it's possible. we're experienced as athletes at planning and executing successful campaigns. And so I really feel that athletes play an important role in this next chapter of life. And we want to hope that we achieve it. Thank you.